All right, mic check. How's it going, guys? For those that are new to this channel, my name is Luis Hermosillo. I am a YouTube vlogger, but in real life, my real job is I am a wedding filmmaker and a content creator. So I make brand films for local businesses, any sort of visuals, whether it's photography or video, mostly video services for ads or anything like that that any local business is looking for. I am about 3 months into YouTube, and now I want to expand to adding a podcast. And now I want to, and now I want to, and now I'm looking to expand and adding a podcast kind of section to my channel. I still don't know what that is exactly. And as you guys, and for those that have been following me, you guys know that I've been bringing you guys along my whole entire YouTube journey. You guys are more than welcome to go back and view any of the videos and see me grow. It's been about 3 months and I've been having a blast. The community I have built and everything like that continue to watch my videos and just want to connect. I'm all about the connection here, guys, and just talking about entrepreneurship, being a creative professional, and anything that comes along with that. It could be family too. I am a dad of 6 kids. I have 4 daughters and 2 sons. Ages range between 7 and 13 years old. So I got a busy household. We also have 2 cats and a dog. So it's a jungle. But anyways, a couple of vlogs ago, I talked about, I believe I named that vlog, like, you don't need to be famous to be a full-time creative or something like that. And what I was trying to get to you guys with that was the idea that you need a certain amount of followers, a certain amount of likes, a certain amount of posts in order to become a full-time creative. And I can tell you that that's not true at all. I am a living example of that, and I'm about to show you in this podcast many others that are out there making a decent amount of money to support a family of, you know, a few kids, a dog, and still be able to do this full time locally. You don't even have to live in a big city or anything like that. Just to give you guys a little bit of my background, I have about 1,200 followers on Instagram, which is nothing, and then I have 6,000 followers on Instagram on my wedding account, which is also nothing. And that took me about 14 years to build. Not that I was trying, just organically. So kudos to those that can build, you know, tens and thousands in like a month or so. I'm not like that. I'm not that popular. And then my YouTube channel, it's been 3 months and I'm up to 2,200-ish, as of now, 2,200 subscribers. And all I've been doing is vlogging and talking about entrepreneurship, being a creative professional, and then hoping that people will connect with me because I want to build friendships and relationships, and that's already been happening. Also, apart from that, I want to encourage you guys to start vlogging, recording your experiences, sharing them with others, and just connecting because I'm in my mid-30s and I crave connection with other creatives. Obviously, I love my wife. She's one of my best friends and I can share a lot of things with her, but she's not geeky or anything like that where I can talk about, you know, cameras and vlogging and all that good stuff like that. You know, she does her best to listen to what I have to say, and she does great at that, and I love her for that as well. And so the idea I had with this podcast was I wanted to bring in other creatives that I personally know that don't have a big following at all, don't really spend too much time on social media, and are making good money. They're keeping themselves busy. I want to ask them like what their journey was like. I shared a little bit of my journey, and maybe I'll reshare it again on a different episode. But I want to show you guys that there are other people out there and what they are doing that they're able to provide for their family and themselves and have a really cool way of living and doing something that they actually enjoy and love doing. So on today's podcast, we're going to have Francisco Corrales, which is one of my best friends. I'm going to tell you a little bit of how I met them. I'm on my way actually driving to go pick him up. And these type of podcasts are going to be a little bit different because if you're watching the video format right now, you guys see that I'm obviously in my car. I'm mic'd up. I have the other DJI mic mini that he's going to be wearing, and we're going to be recording these podcasts on the go because you guys know that I'm a vlogger. I like to keep things very simple, and that's what we're doing today. That's what we're doing here. We're just going to vlog. We're going to go out. I'm going to take him out to breakfast, get a drink, get some coffee, you know, eat, talk, and have him share his story with you guys, because I want you to be encouraged to take that leap of faith and do something that you love doing, or at least hopefully spark some motivation to keep going. If you're already there, to keep going. We're going to talk about the rough times, the things that people don't really like to talk about, because it's not that easy. You know, just it's not like you're just going to start booking things and you're going to make all this money and you're going to be able to have your own schedule and all that stuff. Those things do come with it, but there is work that you have to do in order to achieve that level. Now, between here and picking him up, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I met Francisco and where we're at right now, and then I'll let him tell his story and how everything unfolded from his perspective. I met Francisco back when I was maybe 13 years old, 14. I was young. He was actually best friends with my cousin. My cousin's about 5 years older than me, and so is Francisco. So he was actually my cousin's good friend, and he would come around, and I looked up to my cousin as like a big brother, and I would always want to do what he wanted to do. You know, my cousin took some automotive classes and all that stuff, and then I wanted to do automotive classes, and he got into DJing, then I wanted to DJ. I really looked up to my cousin. I thought he was like the coolest dude ever. Everybody liked him. Everybody was like all over him, and he was just a really cool dude. So I already looked up to him. Francisco was one of his best friends, and I got to kind of meet him through there, just kind of passing. When we were at that age, like obviously they were starting to go out and do more like, I guess, adult things where I, like a 12 or 13-year-old couldn't tag along. Like, you know, they would go out to the bars or to the clubs or concerts and things like that I couldn't join in anymore. So eventually we would only see each other a few times a year through my cousin, and just like parties, and it'd be like family parties and stuff like that. Then around 16 years old, we started playing, you know, Gears of War on Xbox and Halo and you know, Call of Duty and all that stuff. And so we would always get like a little clan going with me, my cousin Francisco, who we call Kiko or Cisco. I call him Kiko, but lately I've just been calling him Francisco now. But anyways, you know, we'd all get together. We had a little clan. We had all those late nights. We went through that whole phase of, you know, late night gaming and you know, souping up computers. I know he was getting into PC gaming for a little bit, and then I started getting into, fast forward, you know, that was teenage life. Then 20 years old, I got married. We all, you know, they all had their kids, and everybody got married. We kind of all chilled out a little bit, and we still stayed in contact, like just through, you know, family get-togethers and stuff like that. We'd see each other, and every once in a while we'll hop on and play online for a little while. And then I started doing photography for weddings, and you guys know a little bit about that story. You guys can watch my vlogs if you want to learn a little bit more about me. But I started getting into photographing weddings. I was looking for a second photographer, and I was having a hard time finding somebody that was consistent, somebody that was going to show up. A lot of my second shooters were always canceling, were you know, not showing up, or whatever the reason was. I was looking for somebody that was reliable. And at that time I was building my photography business, so I was still getting like random part-time jobs here and there. And we started working at a shop here in Rockford where Francisco and my cousin worked, because remember, my cousin Jose, who I should have mentioned his name, but my cousin Jose was working at this shop. You know, he went to school to be an automotive technician, and he's a really, really good automotive technician, probably one of the best ones I know here in the city. And Francisco started working there as a body guy. So basically he would like fix any, you know, any crash, you know, take off bumpers, any crash damage for cars or all that stuff. Like, he'd take all those parts apart and then put it all back together and all that good stuff. And then I got brought into the shop as a kind of like a detailer guy. I was kind of like I was more like the maintenance and slash detail guy. I would clean cars, vacuum them, move them around, mow the grass, just did whatever other extra handy stuff I needed to do around the shop. That was just what I was doing. I wasn't doing anything like big or crazy. I was there, I think, for like a year or two, but I didn't last too long because obviously my wedding business started growing and all that stuff. But in that time, I had asked Francisco if he would ever be interested in shooting a wedding with me. And he was like, oh, you know, I'm not that good at photography, because he was just barely getting into photography because of my cousin. My cousin was the one that got us both into liking cameras and stuff like that. And I was like, you know, I'm looking for somebody reliable. Like, I'll pay you pretty good. At that time, like, second shooting, like, I would get, when I would do it too, at that time the prices were like $200, $250. They would range around that time, around there. This was like 14 years ago. And so he was like, dude, that's crazy. Like, that's way more than what I make here at the shop in like a day and whatever. And I said, hey, you get to dress up, you get to, like, you know, have a good time and everything like that. I'll teach you the ways or whatever. And at first he kind of said no to me. He was like, nah, man, it's not for me. I was like kind of bummed a little bit. I was like, okay, you know, whatever, like, maybe it's just not his thing. I'm happy that he was honest. And I think like a week or two went by and he came up to me at the shop and he was like, hey man, you know what? I'll take you up on that idea for the, you know, the second shooting for weddings. And I said, all right, cool. So, you know, I got him along. I brought him along the first wedding, and I just remember how nervous he looked. He was like so nervous. He had low confidence and stuff like that. And it was crazy because I just, from where he's at now to where he was in our first wedding, he was so quiet. Like, I was like, hey bro, like, I remember I would send him out during cocktail hours to go shoot pictures of like guests, and I could just see it on his face, how he was like, ah, man, the pressure. Like, I could just see it. But you know, he went and did it. He went and did it. I could see that it was uncomfortable, but he had the guts to do something that was not normal for him, and stepped out of the comfort zone, and he started, you know, doing things that they were all new to him. And he trusted me, he trusted the process. And I want to say that whole year, it was so cool to see him level up and get, like, I remember he started buying more like fancier clothes, and then he started dressing up really good, to the point where people at weddings, there were a few times where they thought that he was the main photographer. And then he actually, it's crazy how somebody that, you know, didn't know the industry or anything like that, you can also learn from. It's not like I was just teaching him things. He's the reason why I started even paying attention to like my outfits and growing in like my appearance, because at that time, I think the whole hipster movement was like pretty big, and everybody wanted to wear like button up like floral shirts and like jeans, skinny jeans and all that stuff. And that was me. I was doing that. And I didn't realize how, like, I don't know, it just didn't look professional. It didn't look, you know, I felt like people were still not taking me so serious. And when he started wearing like suits and ties and dressing up, I remember him pulling me aside one day and he was like, hey bro, like, you should step up, like, or actually no, he said, you need to step up your your dress game, dude. Like, you know, like I see you working, you know, you're top notch with your skills, you're very personable, everything, but like your outfits, bro, make you, you know, go from like a 5-star to like a 2 or 3-star, because like, you know, you just, nothing, it's not like my outfits weren't clean or anything. It just looked kind of immature a little bit. And when I was charging what I was charging at that time, which was like kind of like the higher bracket here in my town for that kind of job, you know, being a wedding photographer or whatever, I think at that time it was like $1,500, $2,500 or something like that. I don't remember the prices, but that was like where everybody was at. And he's like, you should look like what you charge. And he gave me this whole talk about how, you know, first appearance and, you know, first impressions, and how people like, just like, it, you know, are gonna treat you different if you dress a little better, or, you know, like you actually wanna like do a good job. Like he just like, he motivated me, and he got me to see that I could be so much better if I stepped up my outfit game. And this is what I was talking about in my last vlog. The kind of friends that I'm looking for and that I consider friends are going to be the friends that are going to tell you your breath smells, bro. Like, hey man, you're musty, your shirt is wrinkly. They're going to be telling you the truth. They're going to tell you the truth, even if they know it might hurt your feelings a little bit. And then it's our job, guys. It's your job to take that and be calm about it and really think about what they're saying, because, and consider it, because I don't think that everybody out there is trying to, get you, or, nobody's out there trying to get you as much as I think we think. And I had to work through that, because I still battle with the mindset of like, I feel like people are out to get me. I don't know if it stems from like a childhood survival, aspect of things. You guys, if you guys want to learn a little bit more about that, go to my hustle vlog, and I talk about like my childhood and how I grew up in survival mode and all that stuff because of the lack of like my parents and all that stuff. For me, or for you to take advice from a friend like that is gold. And if you can learn that way quicker in your growing career or entrepreneurship, because entrepreneurship is something that you kind of do together. It's not really a single person thing. You need to network, you need relationships, you need people to be on your corner to make it through, especially through the hard times. I'm super grateful for Chris Meets Chris. He's become a really cool friend that I met through vlogging on YouTube with action cameras, and he's helped me out already in the 3 months that we've kind of known each other. He's already helped me out through some hard times where I just felt discouraged. I felt unmotivated on YouTube, and wanting to give up and stuff like that. He just sent me some nice, kind words. Told me to keep your head up, and here we are. I'm still going at it. We're gonna keep going, and that's who Francisco is for me. He's that guy that will tell me the truth. He's not gonna budge or anything like that, and I really, really appreciate him for that. And we're about 5 minutes away from his house, but so I'm gonna finish up the story, and then when he hops in, we're just gonna go with the flow, guys. I hope that you are enjoying this podcast, and we'll see what happens. I know that every episode I'm gonna learn something new as I edit this, and we'll see what comes out of it. But I hope that I can motivate you to see that it is possible to do it out here without having the clout or all the social media fame that we're being sold. Now, with Francisco telling me that I needed to upgrade my outfits, I did, and I immediately noticed a difference. I immediately noticed parents of the bride treated me different. I noticed we constantly kept getting showered with compliments. That's one of the things when we show up at weddings. Like, Francisco doesn't shoot weddings anymore. He has moved on to a different career, but and I'll let him talk to you about that. But he's still there for me in case of an emergency. I know I can call him up and he'll step in and help out in any way that he can. So I'm grateful for that as well. But I noticed like the amount of comments I would be getting with shooting weddings and being all dressed up with suits. People just like, I felt so confident too. The confidence and power that comes with dressing up and wearing a suit for photographing weddings it's amazing. Like, I felt so much better, and I didn't realize that just a change of outfit would make me feel so much different. It made me a much better photographer and just business owner and entrepreneur, overall. Now, Francisco ended up shooting about, I don't know, 8 years or something with me, maybe 7, 8. I don't remember how many. Maybe it was more than that. It was a long, long time. He was shooting all of those weddings with me. Just to give you guys an idea, I do about 40, 50 weddings per year. So he was on all of them. He was technically my full-time wedding second photographer, and that's what he was doing. He also ended up picking up a bartending job for a little while during the week because he just had more time, but he was making already a pretty decent living, shooting 2-3 weddings a weekend and bartending for him and his family. And it only took him to say yes, and me watching him be mature, reliable at his own job. That wasn't entrepreneurship. He was just, I saw how hard he worked. I saw he was a fast learner. I saw overall, and most important, I saw that he had a great attitude, and I knew that he had some big potential in him and bigger plans than working at the shop. Nothing wrong with people that are working at shops, but I knew that he was just meant to be in the creative space, and that he would love it in this side of the world. And I'm so glad he took those steps. Guys, we are here at his house. I am going to pause the video, and I'm gonna get it mic'd up, and then we'll start off with a couple of questions. We're gonna go out to eat, and then we'll finish up with a few other questions or a couple more on the way back to dropping them off. So give me 1 second. So guys, Francisco's here with me. We are gonna go grab some lunch at one of our favorite places, exclusive here in Rockford. They have some awesome like mules in there. So we're gonna go have some delicious breakfast. In the meantime, I do have a couple questions for him to answer that I wrote down here, because this is the first episode and I'm here to show you guys the journey of, you don't have to be perfect. I am no shame. I got them all here. Use some Chat GPT to help me out. Shout out to Chat GPT. So the first one, Francisco, I guess what I want you to start off with is an introduction. What is it that you do now? Just give me like a brief intro, and then we're gonna move on to the first question as I drive up.
So like he said, my name is Francisco Corrales. I live here in Rockford. Known him for quite a bit, over 10 years now.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Way long. Yeah. Met him way back in the day when he was just a teenager. Should I tell the story?
You gotta tell the audience the story. Yeah.
So I used to hang out with his cousin quite a bit. Like we were always hanging out, and he was always, well, not always, but you were at his house quite a bit because you were really close to his brother because you guys were the same age. And I remember you guys used to be into music a lot, like playing guitar and all that stuff, and you guys used to hang out in the basement while we just, hung out around the house. And I remember one day walking downstairs and seeing you like perfect. That picture still in my head. Like you were right next to like the water heater playing guitar with your hair like covered half of your eye. Like
Justin Bieber hair.
A little Justin Bieber action there. And just jamming out in the middle of this basement. And it wasn't a finished basement or anything. Like I was just like, the picture was just like, just a basement.
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember looking at you and I was like, dang, this kid is not going anywhere. This kid is going to flip burgers for the rest of his life. And not in a bad way. I was just like, you see people and you like think like, man, I don't know.
That was hilarious. That was my back then.
And I mean, we all started flipping. My first job was flipping burgers. I was in McDonald's for a long time.
Yeah.
So anyways, moved on. We didn't really connect back then because you were a lot younger than I was, so different vibes. But then I remember we started hanging out because we had the mutual, your cousin, my friend at that time, and then we started kind of clicking with car things and stuff like that, and then
tech.
Video games. I remember we used to go to Crazy Penguin Boy back in the day, play some video games and stuff like that.
Yeah. Tell them what Crazy Penguin was.
Oh, Crazy Penguin used to be the spot. It was a great idea. I don't know. We should bring it back.
Yeah.
It was this building filled with consoles, like gaming consoles. So they had a PlayStation room, they had an Xbox room, they had a PC room, other different areas with some pool and stuff like that. You pay by the hour and you play whatever game you wanted. And this back then when, owning a console was a little expensive. It still is, but
not that many people had consoles.
So it was cool that you could just go pay for a hourly fee, and then you could play whatever game. So we used to get in a group and go over there and play it, and that's when we started connecting a little more because of video games.
Yeah, video games. Yeah.
And then life happens. We kind of didn't connect as much, and then I think it was we started hanging out at the shop because you started photography wise. You started doing photography around the same time I started doing photography.
Yep.
But you just skyrocketed. I remember thinking like, this dude just. We were all scared. Like we were just shooting little things like flowers, all the stuff that we start off shooting as a photographer. Abandoned buildings. Yeah, we used to go. Yeah. And I remember watching you. Yeah, he started like shooting like actual people. Man, shooting people. That sounds weird.
Yeah.
But anyways, photographing people.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, he's doing it. But I'm back here like, nah, I'm cool. Like, I was scared, honestly. I was scared back then to like even take that jump, like being like, screw it. You know, I love this thing. I'm going to do it because I really do love photography still.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember seeing you and like, I was like, damn, like he's doing it. Like I want what he's having, you know? But I was too scared to make the jump. And then you just started shooting more and more and more. And then you just became like the go-to wedding photography in the Rockford area and more because you travel quite a bit. So I remember we started hanging out a little more. Then you started, you had I was working at a shop, Bodyshop back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And you started working there because I remember you just wanted to hang out with us because you were doing decent. Yeah, you didn't have
to. During the winter. Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't have to work, and you were like, I'm just gonna get a job there as a part time, like just sweeping the floor and doing things in there just to hang out, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's cool, and you were hanging out with us. So one day at the shop, he approached me because I had been doing photography more. I got more into it. I wasn't doing big things. I was just doing like family portraits and little events here and there, but nothing huge. It wasn't like my main gig like it was yours back in the day.
Yeah.
So I was like, I would consider myself still like fresh, somewhat, especially in the social events, because
in the networking, community.
So I was like, I remember you approaching me. You're like, hey, bro, have you thought about second shooting for weddings? And I was like, it was always in the back of my head, but I never thought of it like I could do it. Because again, I was a pretty closed-off guy back in there. Like I was pretty shy. I wasn't like, getting out there, and I'll get to that part. So I was like, you know what? Screw it. Like I almost said no because I was like, I don't know this. I was like, well, I don't have the gear. I don't have the thing. And you were like,
is that what was going through your mind when I asked you? Because I told him the story. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know why you kind of hesitated.
Yeah, I wasn't like worthy. I didn't feel like worthy in like, I mean, a wedding. That's huge. You cannot mess up in a wedding. So I was like, what if I mess up? And all these things came through my head, and still to this day, like those doubts, I always shut them down right away because they'll hold you back. They'll just hold you back completely, and it's your own person holding you back. And I remember that day you were like, hey, would you mind, do you have any interest in second shooter? And I have this wedding coming up, I need a second shooter. And I was like, bro, I have no experience. I don't know what this, I don't know that. Mm-hmm. You were like, don't worry about it. If you just want to do it, come through. Like, I'll take care of most of it. I just need a second shooter. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. Let's do it. Let's go. It took me a minute to get back to you, though. I was like, let me think about it.
I think it was like 2 weeks. Yeah. It was like 2 weeks. And then
I keep going back and forth in my head, like, man, am I ready for this? Like this and that. And I seen your stories, and you're out there with like, it's not just low budget weddings. It's like
I was doing some higher end weddings and stuff.
So I was like
that.
Man, am I ready for this? And I was like, you know what? Screw it. Let's do it. So I jumped in. I remember.
That was like the start, huh?
It was the start because I remember being so shy about it. You were like, bro, can you go get a photo of that group over there? And I would approach that group super shy. And I was like,
yeah.
And I would, if they give me a look, like not welcoming look, which that was in my head too.
Right. You were like,
I would be like, oh, okay. And then just like walk away.
Dodge him. Dodge him. Yeah. I was talking to them about that. I specifically brought that example. I was like, I remember his confidence level was like not there. It was like, I remember during cocktail, I would tell you like, hey man, go take pictures of guests. And I could just see it. I could see it like, man, this is so uncomfortable for him right now. But he did it. He said, all right, man. He wouldn't go out there and I could just see it. But it was like the fact that you were taking steps that were scary, that was like completely out of your nature, and like you started making the moves.
Yeah.
So let me pull up the question, because a lot of this is actually in this first question. And the first question is, what was the biggest mindset shift you had to make when transitioning from employee or like a 9-to-5 to entrepreneurship?
Oh, okay.
Like what was, obviously you kind of just touched a little bit on it. You talked about, you got the opportunity. It landed because of, connections, right? You knew me. You knew I was doing it full time, and I came up to you and I told them the reason why I came to you is because I saw how reliable you are. I saw at your job, you were really good at your job as well. You're a really fast learner, and overall, you were just a really dope dude. And I was like, oh, I want to I need to approach him see if hopefully he wants to do something like this. And that's where we're now at that part of the story. So what was the mind shift change that you had to or the shift that you had to do for your mindset to go from, I'm gonna jump on this thing? There had to have been a time in progress. Talk about that.
Yeah, it is. I touched already a little bit on it, I guess. It is the shutting down your doubts, your inner voice that says like, no, you can't do it. Yeah, you always want to look at the risk. You always want to, look at, can I do it? But honestly, like, I'm one of those people that rather try it and fail than not try it at all and then just live life thinking, what if I have done it? Failing is fine. It's part of the process. Like, I failed so many times. We all fail so many times. But getting past that mindset of thinking like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to make it. You pretty much, you shut yourself down completely. You don't even get the other person, like whoever's hiring you to shut you down. You already shut yourself down or didn't take the opportunity when it was presented to you. Is getting out of that shell, saying, you know what, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try to work it out. If it's something that you're really passionate about or something that's gonna benefit your career or your life in any way, just jump on it. If you still want to keep, I remember back then, I was scared because I was like, I still have my full-time job. I don't know if I want to do this photography stuff full-time.
Yep.
And because I was comfortable. I mean, I was getting that weekly paycheck. I was doing okay. So I was like, I don't know if this is for me. I don't know if the career of freelancing or like photographer is going to be for me. But that decision that I made that day completely changed my life. Completely. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong. I still love body work, what I was doing back there. I still love, working in a place like that. And I miss it. But at the same time, like, now I have way more free time to do what I want, to spend more time with the family. I have my weekends free now. It's that decision that day changed my life. And it's not like that decision changed your life. You got to go with it because there's still going to be doubts in your head. There's still going to be like that, no, you can't do it in your head. You just got to shut it down. Just move on. Just keep going. Like, it's going to work out.
Did you feel like social media, because I talked to my viewers here about how a lot of us, I mean, and I'm going to interview most of our other friends too that are not that big. And when I say not that big, I'm talking about we're not social media famous. I think most of us have all of us are under 2K viewers, 5K viewers, which is nothing nowadays. That's like nothing at all. And some of us don't even barely spend time on social media. I think I spend most of the time on social media, and I think the next one might be Josiah, and then you. I think Josiah, because of Josiah trying to do Gaffer.
Yeah,
now.
He's growing his channel now.
He's growing his channel now.
So he's spending a lot more.
Yeah, but other than that, I don't think many other ones are even really too much on social media at all. Like,
I use it as a tool, and that's something I learned from you. Like, my social media, my Instagram and Facebook, all of it was personal stuff mixed with some professional stuff. And I remember when we took that road trip to California on the way back, I was picking your mind about how you handle your social media. And the first thing you say, you got to clean it up and you got to separate it. You got to have your social, your personal one and your business one, or if it's just one, just keep it business. And that was another, mind shift in my head, because I was like, oh, okay. As soon as I did that, looking more professional on my social media, now posting a lot of like detailed personal stuff. I still post my family. I still post going out and doing a little things, but that. And even then, like you said, shoot, I don't have that many followers either. But it is a tool.
Yeah,
it is a tool. You just gotta use it. You gotta market yourself, because that's the only way as freelancers. That's how we market ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I talk about too. I'm not saying, guys,
705 followers.
Exactly. we're saying, and you're booked out all the time.
Yeah.
Like he's a full-time, and I'll let him talk about the shift in his career. So he was shooting weddings for quite a while. I think it was like 8, 9 years, 7 years around.
Yeah.
It was a long time. Could have been more than that. I don't really remember. Everything's kind of blurry. I had a lot of kids, and then he got busy growing his career. But through the networking, he met our other friends, which you'll eventually meet in this podcast later on when I bring him on for interviews and stuff. We all do a lot of different things, but we're all nerds, and we all love technology and just entrepreneurship in general. And like I said, guys, doing this entrepreneurship is not something that you do by yourself. It is something that you need people in your corner, and it's built out of relationships. So that's what we preach here, and I want you guys to learn just more about Francisco. So Francisco, after the weddings and everything that we were able to, we had hundreds of weddings under our belts together, from going to Texas to California to all around the Midwest, and had a bunch of awesome memories and times like that. We you got connected with the rest of the squad, the production side of things. And then the second question here that I have written down is, can you walk us through a major early failure you experienced and how you bounce back from it? Because going into entrepreneurship is very scary. Like you said, at the beginning you're like, man, I don't know if this is for me. You loved what you were doing, which was car body work and all that stuff, and that was really cool. And you said you were comfortable. That was the word you used, that you were comfortable with that check. You kind of had almost got into this like settle mode at that time, it looks like. And then you said you had that mind shift change when you started, you said yes to that question of coming to second shoot. You started going out there. You started doing things that were very uncomfortable, for you, as far as, starting to get out of the bubble and talking to people. And I told my viewers here before you hopped on the car how, you also taught me a lot of things. Like, you're the reason why I stepped up my dress game, because I was just tennis shoes, sweatpants. Not that you guys see me wearing sweatpants all the time, but I just looked like you wouldn't take me seriously at all. And not at weddings, but I was just not dressing up like how he was. And that's something I really picked up from him, just the appearance and everything like that. And it's something that's always stuck with me. And I like the pressure that Francisco puts on me, especially when we go out somewhere. I always know I'm like today, guys, how you see from my vlogs, I'm wearing jeans. I got my cowboy boots on. I got a semi-decent shirt on. And he always challenges me and pushes me to present myself in a more mature manner. I remember you saying, like, dress your age, dude. Like, it's like, I remember one time, specifically like wearing hats backwards. I know sometimes we do it if you're working, like if there was a purpose because we're working. Not to shade on anybody that wears hats backwards, but it was just something that Francisco has a preference on. And then it really clicked on me, and I was like, yeah, you know what? Like, yeah, there were some things that I was just doing that just felt like I wasn't letting go of my youth. And so those kind of things were really were really encouraging to me. And then just seeing Francisco, like, watching his journey hustle and seeing him grow just made me feel so much like encouraged for myself too, like to keep growing. Because I'm like, man, look at, like, it reminded me of also when I started. So what were some things that you wish you would have done different then on that question that we just asked? Yeah, I'll repeat it again because we kind of went on a little bunny trail here, but can you walk us through a major early failure you experienced? Like, tell us about a time you majorly failed and you were like, dang, like, this sucks. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to bounce back. And how did you bounce back? Because obviously you're doing great right now. So there was a point where, tell us, share a story with us about that.
If it's like in life, which was kind of the catalyst of starting my career in the freelancing and media world, is when I actually I left the shop, or got let go, or left. I'm still not sure. It was a weird
tricky situation.
So anyways, we were shooting quite a bit of weddings by then. So I was like, okay, this is good. And then I left the shop, and I was like, what am I gonna do in my life? I was like, it did feel like a failure. I have never been let go of a job in my life, and that one felt like, and I think I was.
Yep.
I think my brain's protecting me from that. It's like, no, you were right, bro.
Yeah, I got fired from all of my jobs, by the way. I'll talk about that in a different vlog.
So I was like, man, this sucks. Like, I never been fired. If that's what happened, I
it's
never
embarrassing.
Been fired.
Yeah.
And I was like, what am I gonna do with life? And dude, for a while, I was down. I was like, man, what am I gonna do? But that was the catalyst of me saying, you know what, screw it. I'm gonna go in full time photography. I see you doing it. I got a great mentor. I know I know I can do it. I know I can do it. It was again that mind shift of saying like, screw it. I'm gonna try it. Big things in my life, and I know your life, is the support that we get from our wives. Mm-hmm. You can't compare it. Like, from throughout my career, like my wife has been the number one fan. She's always supporting me. She's always pushing me, like, go for it. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I'm like, great. So I have that backup system at home, so shout out wife. So yeah, it was like, what am I gonna do? And she was like, dude, try it. If it doesn't work out, well, it's not like we put in a lot of money into it, or it's not like it's gonna, we're gonna lose anything. So you just try it out. I'm like, okay. So I reached out to him, like, hey, I think I'm gonna go full time. Let's, if you got more weddings, send them my way. Like,
I remember sitting down and having that conversation, like, bro, like, all right, let's go. And then, you were my full-time second shooter. We
got to the point where we were shooting like 45 weddings to 50 a year. Mm-hmm. I mean, we were out there every weekend, multiple weddings, times. So
traveling everywhere.
Yeah. And it was great. It was great. Good for, the career, good for the bank account. We were killing it out there. But yeah, then things, of course, kind of slowed down because,
COVID. Was it around COVID when we started, like, you were already kind of working in the production world. So talk about the connection in how you went from weddings to the production world and how that shift was, and was that another scary kind of thing to do because you were like, oh wow, like I'm kind of outgrowing weddings. I'm looking for the next level now that you got the hang of this like entrepreneurship and everything. You're starting to build your own connections. Talk a little bit about that.
So I still love weddings. I'm one of those wedding photographers that love weddings. I love dressing up. I love in there. It's a happy day. I used to love them. Still, like after 10 years, I still do. But then we started hanging out with Josiah, shout out to Josiah. He's the one that kind of introduced me to this entire new world of, production work, video production. So we started doing, a few photographers, we were doing what we call Film Fridays. Mm-hmm. It was a bunch of us.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's where I met Josiah and started connecting.
Yeah.
It was a bunch of us with film 35mm or medium format, whatever film camera you had. We would pick a spot on a Friday.
Wake up at sunrise.
Yeah. Actually before, because we wanted to get the sunset. Yeah. Back then, I used to have this Vigo conversion van where we could fit like 12 people. So I was like, yeah, I'll drive. So we packed that van up, go to any location that we picked out.
Abandoned places, parks, woods, everything.
And just shoot film. That was it. That was the whole thing, Film Fridays. And that's where I met Josiah. I never met him. I heard about him, never met him. And I was like, okay, cool guy. Like, I saw how focused and like straight he was with everything he does. And I was like, I like that. So then one day he reaches out and he's like, hey, well, I started hanging out with him a little more off and on. Like I was helping him, with the studio part and all that. And then one day he approached me. He's like, hey, would you ever, another
question, another opportunity, but it came from relationships.
Networking is huge. You always want to give a good impression to anybody. It doesn't matter who they are. They could be a PA, they could be a director. It doesn't matter. Good impressions matter the most. Like that's how you network. Anyways, we just had we kind of click because he likes suits. He likes dressing up in nice suits and stuff like that. And I do too. So I was like, hey. We kind of connected that way. But then one day he approached me. He was like, hey, have you ever thought about doing some like freelance production work? I'm like, what is that? And he told me, it's like the position is considered grip. And I had no idea what that was at that time. I was like, okay.
So what is a grip for people that are watching?
A grip is pretty much the labor, the hands-on physical guy that puts on light stands, lights. In some parts of the country, you're not allowed to touch lights as a crib. But anyways, here in the Midwest, we touch lights. We set up lights. We set up stands. We run power. We do all the physical, all the manual work for lighting a certain scene. So that's me. That's what I do. I'll go into it a little more. But he was like, hey, would you mind helping out? He's like, I just need an extra hand. I'm like, dude, I have no experience on this. I have zero. Again, me shutting myself down, completely like saying no, no, no.
So it was crazy because even after
Yeah.
you had it again.
Yeah.
So
you always have those outs.
So see, guys, I just want to show you that even Francisco, and this is my first time kind of hearing this, but like, you guys see, like, even though he had, almost a decade of, I'm going to do another lap around here. So we're here at the restaurant, but we're going to do one more lap just to finish off this question. But I want you guys to see that, like, you had, Francisco, you had that moment when I came up and approached you about, hey, I opened up that door of like, would you like to try second shooting weddings with me? You were faced with that challenge, that anxiety of like, oh, I don't know, is this something different? And even after all those years of, I thought you would be used to it by now, you get asked again another question and you're almost back at square one again. But this time you have some sort of knowledge behind it, but that doesn't mean that those feelings aren't going to go away.
No, they don't go. It's just, again, you just got to get past them. They're going to come back and say like, no, you can't do it. And at that point when he asked me, I was like, I don't know. This is scary. I seen pictures of him on set and it looks impressive. It looks scary. It kind of does. So I was like, I don't know, bro. So my approach to things like that nowadays is be transparent with them. Like, just be like, hey, I'm interested, 100% interested, but I don't have the skill set. This is what I can do. This is what my limitations are. If you can use me, go for it. I do not try to BS my way into it. Like, oh yeah, I've done it many times. No. People in the industry, in any industry, appreciate transparency and being like honest.
That's a good
with
tip.
it.
Yeah, be transparent.
Be transparent. Just to let them know
Be
from
honest,
the beginning.
yeah.
Let them know that you have a lot of interest in it, but you're new to it. We all started from somewhere. We all started helping, whatever it was the industry. We started from the bottom. That's fine. Just be transparent, because you come in saying like, oh yeah, I've done it many times just to get at the job, and then you get tested, you fail, you're not gonna get a call back. But anyways, he asked me that day, and I was like, dude, what am I supposed to do? Like, what would my job be? And he just told me about it. I'm like, screw it, let's try it out. I'm like, my skill set, let's try it out. Okay. As soon as I walk into set, before I even touch any lights, anything at all, I just fell in love with it. I was like, holy crap, the whole vibe.
Yeah.
Everything.
It was like you're making movies.
Yeah. And I was like, wow, I was so amazed by everything. And in that moment, I decided, I want to do this. This is what I want to do. Like, it was during the week. I could still shoot weddings on the weekends. I can do this. I want to do this. So, yeah, I said yes. And he put me on. And he's like, I'll teach you what I know. He took me under his wing. Taught me everything. Well, not everything he knows. He knows a lot. But taught me everything I know to this point. And I'm super happy that happened. I always thank him for the opportunity. But that's the thing. You got to take the opportunities when they come. You cannot let them go by. It's just, they're going to change your life in a way if you let it. Because it's not just saying yes at that point and then, oh, my life is going to change. No, you got to put in work. But that's part of the process.
So bouncing back was one thing that it sounds like from the question that you learned was that at the beginning you were you had those feelings when I asked you like, hey, would you want a second shoot? And at that time you didn't really know anything, so you were probably extra scared. But then you went through all those years of entrepreneurship, living off of weddings, hustling and starting to network your way, building confidence. And then you get met again with another opportunity that put you back into those same feelings, but now with the ammo that you had basically built up from those years, you were able to bounce back in that situation and say yes to like Josiah to you know what, I'm gonna go, and I know that I have to be honest, because you were honest with me too. You're like, hey man, like I haven't shot weddings and all this stuff. And I think from an entrepreneur or even a business owner or whatever that is, from that point of view, or even just anybody in relationship wise, like just being straight up honest, like, hey man, I'm not that skilled at that thing. Like, if you want me to try it, I will. Teach me. And I think that that's really what we want, what we want to hear. And I think you nailed it on the what is it? You put the nail on the
coffin.
In the coffin. Is that what it is? No, that's to finish the job, right? What is the saying, guys? Is it?
Nail. You hit the nail on the head.
You hit the nail. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was looking for with that one, guys. So that's a great tip, Francisco. To be honest right from the start. Don't try to BS your way into things or fake it to make it. Some of that stuff is true. There's a way to fake it till you make it, but that doesn't mean lie. That doesn't mean it doesn't mean be dishonest about your skills, what you have done, and all that stuff, because eventually it will catch up to you. Earlier in my career, I'll share just one quick one with me, but I used to be so scared to tell people that I didn't finish high school, that I didn't have a GED, that I didn't have any of that stuff. And I would tell some of my couples, like, yeah, I graduated from my high school, which I only went 1 year, just because I didn't want to touch that subject. And in the back of my mind, I always knew that it wasn't true. And I was like, oh, nobody will ever find out. I don't do any of that stuff. I'm in weddings. But ironically, one day, look, just karma comes around. I was going out. This is a true story. I don't think I've ever even told you this. I went out to eat with this couple that we personally know. Actually, she's actually one of my wife's good friends. She's at the house right now. So I don't think they watch my videos, but that's fine because we already went through it. But we went out to eat one day, and we shot their weddings. It was a wedding that we did out in a barn. Her name was Aubrey, and she married a Filipino guy. Yeah, it was them. They go to my church. And we went out to dinner with them. We were talking about, just weddings and stuff like that. And I had mentioned that, I didn't finish high school, and the groom, I forgot his name, but I was like, hey, he's like, hey, well, that's funny. He's like, you told us you did graduate. And I was like, and I just straight up confessed there, obviously that was earlier when I was like in my early 20s. And I was like, listen, man, I'm not gonna lie. I did lie. Like, I was just insecure about that part of my life and everything like that. And he understood it. He was like, no, I get it, man. And I was like, yeah, sorry, man. Like, but I still felt very embarrassed. So with what Francisco's saying, like, stay honest with it, and don't BS your way through it. People, we're excited. I think even with you, Francisco, like, you have taught other probably PAs that have come, or personal assistants that have come into productions that might need help pointer on things. I mean, even me, when I've been, I've jumped in some of these productions as basically like a water boy, honestly. Like, or, I'm like secondhand to either Francisco or anything like that. Francisco taught me like what some of these things are called. I didn't even know what C stands or the claws, or what do you call the little things that go on the C stands? I don't know, there's so many names to these things, but I can't. The first thing he was teaching me was some of the vocab on these things that I only remember. C stands now, sandbags, and sandbags.
Apple boxes.
Apple boxes was one of them. Yeah, apple boxes. Like, get an apple box. And speed. I heard that word speed, and I didn't. Well, like, why don't they just say record? Right. And anyways, yeah, that is a great tip. I don't think I've ever talked about that.
I'll give you another one. Those doubts in your head never go away. Another opportunity came up to me a couple years ago. Fellow photographers that shoot for a big company, they were like, hey, they are looking for a sound guy for the videos that they shoot. I know you've done a little sound here and there, and I have not like big time. I was putting to record sound on a project because they were shorthanded, so I was just monitoring sound, like making sure they didn't peak, and that's it. That was all my experience. So then they approached me like, hey, the company that we work for, they're looking for a sound guy. Would you be interested? And again, those doubts came to my head. Like, I have not.
So this is the third time you've been approached in your life.
Yeah. Okay. And I was like, I have no idea when it comes. I have some idea, but I wasn't like fully, in it. So I was like, I don't know. Again, that was in my head. I was like, you know what? Screw it. Let's do it. Jump in. I was like, all right, bet. Let's do it. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. But I told him, like, hey, be straight with the client. Let them know that I'm starting out. I'm really interested in this and this and that. And they were like, don't worry about it. They're fine with it. I was like, okay, as long as they know where I'm at, so they don't expect a lot more than what I can deliver. And that's when my community came in, my networking, because I didn't have any gear at that time. Nothing. Not a microphone, not a mixer, nothing. And Josiah stepped in and he was like, hey, you're welcome to use my kit. He had a sound kit for production work. So like, okay, so I took his mixer, and then another person in the studio was like, hey, I have some labs that you can use if you want to use them. I'm like, oh, bet. So he gave me labs. Somebody else stepped in and gave me, let me borrow a boom. So it was like everybody stepped in and like loaded me up with gear. Matt Burke came through and he's like, hey, the mics that you had just sold them that day. He's like, hey, you can use them. Take them with you as a backup. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So everybody came in and like helped me out, because they saw the interest that I had, and they wanted me to like succeed on this. And they believed more in me than I believed in myself at that time. I was like, oh, and then that'll give me a little boost. I was like, okay, if they believe me in me enough to like lend me their gear for free, like,
which is expensive gear.
And that, it was super expensive. And that kind of lit a fire in me, because I was like, I got to kill it. I got to do a good job. I got to make them proud. I got to make sure that they know that their favor to me is not just wasted. I'm going to kill it. So I showed up on set. I did my research. It was in a shoot that we're doing soon. So throughout that time, I live in YouTube, watching videos, watching all that, learning, asking, calling my friends like, hey, what do you do in this situation, this and that. And dude, when I showed up on set, they loved it. I'm still working with them. I shoot multiple times a year, 3-4 times a day shoots. They still love me. And nowadays I buy my own gear. I have all my stuff. But that's just to show you that those doubts are never gonna go away. They're always gonna be in your head like, no, you can't do it. You can't do it. Screw them.
And also the fact that, like you said, this entrepreneurship life, you don't do it by yourself.
No, you cannot do it by yourself.
I mean, look at this. Because of all the networks that you have with all of our circle of friends, like each of them were able to spot you like mics, this, that, like, hey, here's a poll for your boom mic. Here, I got a boom mic. We everybody came through, built you a kit, and sent you off, and was cheering for you on top of that.
Exactly.
And that kind of stuff is what we talk about here, guys, that you gotta get yourself in a circle of other friends, because we all build each other up, and you cannot do this by yourself. You're gonna make your life so much easier, or you're gonna make your life so much harder if you try to do it by yourself. You guys have seen my vlogs before. I talk about that, and me trying to be a lone wolf and trying to do things by myself all the time has caused some of the biggest problems in my life. And I'll share some of those later in some vlogs. But looking back, what's one thing you wish you had focused on more during your first year as an entrepreneur? So I guess, Francisco, the first thing is I guess identify what you consider your first official year of being an entrepreneur, and what was that like, and what will you have done? What was the question? What will you have done different? Yeah. Let's see. Let me just double check. Looking back, what's one thing you wish you would have focused on more? Like what do you wish you would have focused on more on your first year of entrepreneurship? So first, tell us what you consider your first official year of entrepreneurship, and what you wish you would have focused on more.
I think officially my first year that I was like, okay, I'm in this, was when I was on my own completely. I was in, we shot weddings for 8 years together?
Yeah, 8, 9, 10 years.
But I was always second shooting. You were the lead always doing your thing, and I was just coming, second shooting. You guys get it.
You're working under somebody else. Yep.
But the minute I started my LLC and started the bank account and all the behind the scenes stuff, and actually working on my own, like
as a freelancer, independent,
and like it started to build that bank account, that's when it felt real. Like I was like, okay, this is me. Like I'm doing all the marketing, all the work, all the books, which I hate. But that's when it felt real. I was like, okay, this is it. I'm in it. As for what I could have done or changed different or done sooner, networking. Networking is key in this industry. The one thing that I would have changed more, done more or changed, was doing more networking. going out to events, meeting people. It doesn't matter who they are. Make a connection out there. Go to your local studio if you're in this production world industry. Go take a tour. Go meet people there. There's greet and meet. Go there. Create friendships. Create connections. Because those are the people that are gonna call you one day. Because me and my industry, there's no there's no way to market myself besides me being on networking events or Instagram. Like, I use Instagram a lot as a tool. I don't use it for personal reasons. I use it as a tool. I always post where I'm at, what I'm doing, and people like that. People like seeing me busy.
The behind the scenes.
The behind the scenes, all that stuff. People love that kind of stuff, and that's how I market myself.
Would you say that? I'm sorry. Would
Go
you
ahead.
say that social media and having a huge following or any of that stuff? Did you feel like that was like a negative thing for you? Like I don't have a lot of followers. I don't know if I should be able to do this. Or like
I used to.
even nowadays, like talk a little bit about
used to
social
be-
media and what is that tool for you? Like
I used to be one of those people that would upload a picture, because me being a photographer, I would upload a picture that I thought, oh, this is a good one, and get like 5 likes, and that hurt. And
Yeah.
I was like, man, like, what am I doing wrong? It's just, I never understood why.
Yeah.
And that was always like, it would bring me down. Like, man, I'm not doing okay. Like, do I suck at this? What am I doing wrong? At the end, it doesn't matter. I have 700 followers in my main account. That's it. But I'm always booking. I'm always busy. I was just talking to you about in the restaurant. I've been traveling the last 2 to 3 months.
yeah, you have.
Seattle.
It's crazy, more than me,
Vegas.
man.
Yeah.
I used to be the one traveling. Now it's you. Yeah. If you could give 3 simple tips to anybody out there that is in the verge of like, man, I really want to get back to, creating, or maybe they just want to start, but they're scared. They've been maybe doing this a little bit part-time here and there on the side, and they really would love to go full-time. What would you say to that person? Just think of yourself when you first started, and like, man, like if you could go back time knowing what you know now, like what would you have changed? Give somebody a couple tips.
Yeah.
Number one.
I would say the first one, and it applies to everything in life, is be professional about what you do and stay professional. At any job, any set, any client you meet, stay professional. There will be those times where you feel like you're too comfortable with that client. You can lower down your professionalism. Stay professional.
You're talking about joking around, presentation, your appearance.
I'll give you a quick sample. This is weddings, when we're shooting weddings.
Yeah.
We went to I needed a tie or a shirt for the wedding day. Just somehow I didn't have one, something like that. We went to a store and we're shopping. I'm looking for my shirt or tie, whatever it was at that time, I can't remember. So this gentleman approached me and he was like, hey, do you work here? I could have been a butthole and just say, no, get away from me. But I was like, I'm on a wedding day, I'm already in that persona of a wedding photographer. I'm already acting professional, so I'm gonna act professional regardless. So I said, no, I don't work here, but what can I help you with? Because I know the store somewhat. Okay. And he was like, I'm looking for this and this. I'm like, oh, I think that area over there is the one you're going to find it. And I could tell the gentleman wasn't like really knowledgeable about what he was looking for. So I was like, here, I'll walk with you. What are you looking for? And I didn't help him fully, but I got him the right way. I was like, cool. We go to the wedding. We shoot the wedding. The reception starts. Crazy thing turned out to be the gentleman that I helped with the sword turned out to be the father of the groom. And I was like, holy crap, yeah.
That, yeah.
And I told you, I was like, oh, that was the gentleman that was at the store asking for help. And again, it could have been like a butthole and just say, no, get away from me or whatever, just say no. But I said professional, stay professional, and that went a long way. Stay professional regardless. Always stay professional. Doesn't matter how comfortable you get, always stay professional. Second thing is network. Reach out to people. Reach out to, again, the person that you admire the most, the person that inspires you. Reach out to them and just ask them questions, like simple stuff. Let me take you out for coffee. Let me pick your brain for a little bit. To be honest with you, in this industry, it's a lonely industry that we're on.
Yeah.
So any company that wants to hang out a little bit is welcome, because most of our friends are doing the same thing.
We're all
They're
busy.
out there busy doing something. So if you reach out like, hey, let's go out for coffee. I want to pick your brain. I'm happy. Most of us are happy to do it.
Yeah.
And that's another misconception about this industry. Like everybody's so like closed off and they don't want to share. No, we all want to share. We all want to help out because when we started, we all wanted to help out. So reach out, network, go to events, anything that you're interested in, go to that. And the third thing I would say is don't give up. Honestly, it sounds cheesy. It sounds like everybody says that. Just don't give up. Take the opportunities that come to you, use them. Just silence those voices in your head that are telling you can't do it, and silence voices outside of your head, because when you're coming up, and I'm not saying like we're super successful, well off. We have families and we're able to provide for them. That's huge.
Yeah.
But there will be people out there that are going to be like, no, you can't do it. No, this is too hard. Don't listen to people. Listen to the professionals, the ones that want to see you come up, and listen to their advices. But there will be people that are always going to be like, no, you can't do it. You can't do it. Why? Because I don't know.
And sometimes you'll be surprised. Sometimes there's people that are closest to you that you'll realize as you start growing, unfortunately, that'll start putting a stronger filter in seeing which ones are your true relationships that you should probably invest more, that are going to actually help you succeed and get to the next level. We are that relationship where I told you guys before I picked up Francisco that the way I look at a friend is somebody that's going to tell me, hey bro, like you got a booger showing right now, or like, hey bro, you smell a little bit, like, hey bro, brush your teeth, hey bro, this. Even though they know that it might hurt your feelings a little bit, but the fact that they're being honest with you and they're not going to let you go out there and represent yourself like that when there's something that you need to shift or make a tweak on so that you can be at your best, and they're watching out for you, to me, that is a good friend. And somebody that's willing to talk through problems. If you ever get offended with your friend, family, whatever that is, to be able to sit down and say, hey man, like, you kind of screwed up on this area. Like, this is how I felt. This is how I felt you came about. Can we talk about it? And then you listening and being like, oh, dang, like, you know what? Maybe you're right. I should have done it this way. This is not what I meant. And be able to process through those things, I think will get you a lot further. Seeing Francisco now be a sound engineer, a grip, and being in productions, picking up jobs with some big companies and creators out there that, like, looking back at the Francisco I knew when I was younger, the shy one, like going up and being like,
perhaps
can I take a picture of you? And it's like, now he's like, hey, how's it going, guys? Like, super confident, and like seeing that growth in you has been like awesome, dude. And like, I'm grateful that you popped into this podcast. I hope, guys, that this podcast, this is the first episode. Like, I didn't know really what was going to happen. Obviously, they're going to be getting better and better. And obviously, I'm picking my best friend here to help me go through this first podcast together. You guys have been seeing my YouTube journey since the beginning 3 months ago. And I'm showing you all the rawness of it. Like, this is, I don't know what I'm doing right now. And I thought, hey, I'm going to bring another creative that also went full-time, how he grew, some of the things that helped him. And there's going to be plenty of more of those to come. If you guys enjoyed this podcast, please do the things you got to do, hit the like button, do all that other stuff, share it. Even anything, guys, this is free. Go in the comments. Just tell me what you liked about this podcast, if it helped you or not. Everything is welcome here, guys. I want to be able to make my podcast a lot better for next time. This isn't like your typical sit down with a bigger microphone podcast, not to shade on those. I just wanted a little bit something more different. I did get inspired by Hot Ones on, if you guys have seen that show. You seen Hot Ones? Yeah. I think he's one of the best like interviewer persons, and I really love that. I'm very run and gun, you guys know that. And I was like, hey, can I use the DJI system to be able to create something that's kind of a podcast and be able to do this for you guys to listen to and hopefully get inspired. I'm super new at this, and hopefully this gives you a encouragement to be like, man, that guy sucked. I know I can do better than that. And then you guys do better than me. Like, whether that still helps you and that still fulfills what I'm trying to do here. So Francisco, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Guys, we're going to go come in here and say hi to some of our business partners. I'm going to go drop off Francisco. He's got to go on a production, and I'm going to go ahead and edit this so that you guys can watch it hopefully today. So thank you so much, guys. Leave your comments, and thank you so much. tell them where they can find you at.
Well, I have a couple of different accounts, but the main one is francisco.portraits at Instagram. Or if you want to follow my journey through production world, is Kiko Grips, KIKOGRIPS on Instagram as well. That's where I post most of the production stuff. Francisco Portraits is more photography related. But yeah, you can find me there.
Thank you guys. Peace out. Enjoy, and welcome back on the next channel or on the next podcast then. All right. Take it easy. Peace.
See ya.